Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a recap review of If Loving You Is Wrong Season 3 Episode 1, Watch Your Back. This episode picks up where it left off from last season, which was in the springtime. The baby is stolen. Alex's dad, Rusty, is over at Random House wrecking havoc or whatever, and somebody stole the baby. And like she's frantically running around trying to figure out where the baby at. So she slowly walks over to Randall's house and saw a trail of blood over there. And she thought maybe they did it to Randall. They got Randall or whatever. So she walks in and it was this chair lying on the floor. And then behind it, it was Miss Louise. And Miss Louise calling for Marcy, thinking that she's Marcy, telling Marcy to call the police and all this crap. And she was like, she can't see. So I'm thinking maybe they just beat her so bad, like she temporarily lost her vision, because that does happen sometimes. Like you can beat somebody really, really bad and they temporarily lose their vision. But she ended up getting it back, I'm assuming, because she was like, "You're not Marcy, you're Alex. I'm gonna call the police on you because I saw exactly who did it and all this stuff." So Alex, she was like, "Don't hurt me, don't hurt me, don't hurt me." And then Alex, she started backing up and she walked out, said she was going to go back home, that she's not going to hurt her or something like that. And she walked over back to her house and started calling her mom. Her mom didn't answer, kept going straight to voicemail, and she kept calling Brad wouldn't answer either, and it kept going to the answering machine. And so she ended up calling Marcy. Marcy was like, "I know this bitch not calling me." So she answered the phone like, "Girl, what do you want?" And she was like, "Where's Brad?" She was like, "Where's my husband?" And I just laughed because I really, really love Marcy's my favorite character on here. Like I hate Alex and I hate Kelly with a passion. And she was like, "Where's my husband?" And she was like, "Brad's not there." She was like, "Call Brad's phone." And I don't remember if she said that Brad's not answering, but Marcy ended up hanging up or whatever. And Marcy called Brad, and Brad answered on the first ring. And I'm like, "Oh, Marcy got him wrapped around her finger like that." And she was calling him. She told him that Alex keep calling and it sounded like an emergency or whatever. He was breathing on her, and I'm thinking, is he having sex or exercising or something? But when they hung up the phone, he was actually digging a hole. Like I'm like, what he gonna put in his hole? Like, is he working with Rusty them? Because I know Rusty don't like him. But you know how like people who don't like each other, they link up together and hate the other person together. So I'm like, maybe that's what's gonna happen here. And then I'm like, why isn't Alex calling the police or 911? I know she's afraid that she's connected to this because she's acting all frantic like a real white woman. I'm like, girl, you put this in motion. You the one called your dad, and all this stuff ended up backfiring on her. Because like now she don't even know where her baby at. Like she didn't even call 911 or anything. Because if she called 911 and it's a baby involved, this is automatically urgent. This is going to be the top priority. But she didn't even call the police. This whole episode, she never even called the police. She kept calling everybody else. But on the preview for the next episode, they showed that police was actually called. We'll get into that later. Next, we go over to the hood. The projects at Natalie's house. Because you know, last season, Fawn, Joey, and Quan got shot. Because like they was going over to Natalie's house or whatever, and Fawn had her dad's money, because you know she always used to go around and pick the money from the different restaurants and stuff. And Fawn had the money, and Quan and his other friend planned to rob them. So when they rolled up on Quan, when Quan pulled out a gun, Joey shot him first, and he shot Joey back. And it was like, you know how like people shoot at the same time, and both of them went down. And Quan's friend, who wasn't shot, he grabbed the money and left. And Fawn got shot during this time too. So all three of them laid on the ground. Natalie come downstairs crying and frantic and stuff. She goes over to Quan and kick Quan. Quan didn't move, so I'm assuming Quan's dead. But this is Tyler Perry world, and Tyler Perry like to bring people back to life. So we'll just see as the season go on. And Joey just laying there. He's not saying anything. I'm assuming he's supposed to be stiff to feel like he's kind of dead, but kind of not. But he keep moving. If you look closely, he keeps moving. And Fawn she's just talking like this just a regular day. "Oh, they stole my dad's money. He was just trying to protect me." I'm like, this girl talking a lot to be shot. Now, I ain't never been shot before, knock on wood. But I thought when you get shot, like you already in shock and you don't really want to say anything. You just like laying there because you know all the energy that you need, that you have, you're going to need that for later, just in case you have to have surgery and have the bullet removed and all that stuff. Or like if you're on your last words or whatever, you want to save that energy to say what you want to say as your dying declaration, and say who done this and what happened and stuff. But she's just like yelling all out, rolling all around on the ground. I'm like, girl, just be still, because when you keep moving, if you're injured, it makes it worse. It's just like if you get stabbed, they don't want you to pull it out because all that blood and stuff is going to start gushing. So like if you injured or whatever, you're just supposed to sit there still, because the less blood that you lose, the better chance you'll have at surviving. So she was sitting up there trying to tell Natalie what happened, and Natalie sitting up there frantic and acting all crazy too, and Lucian trying to calm her down. And meanwhile, he keeps calling on because he already had the little walkie thing on, he keeps calling for the ambulance, and they're not even responding. I'm like, this is coming this is not even a phone call, this is coming directly from an officer, so they should be immediately responding back like that. But he called at least 3 times. I don't know if it was like 5, but I know he called at least 3 times trying to get them to answer, and they didn't answer. The whole scene, they didn't answer. And basically he was just trying to calm Natalie down and try to have her to keep Fawn calm too and not talk, because like I said before, she didn't need to lose any blood. So he just wanted to keep them calm and stuff, and have Natalie stop acting frantically, and keep the situation under control, because that's basically what police are supposed to do, keep the situation under control and try to solve problems. Then we go over to Kelly's house. Her and Esperanza there, and Kelly's son Justin and Esperanza's daughter, I forgot what her name is. I don't even, have they ever said it in the series? I don't know if they ever said it in the series, but Kelly still got in this ugly ass dress, this bondage dress. I'm just tired of seeing her in this damn dress, because it's not even cute. But basically she's looking all worried and stuff, and Esperanza asking her what's going on and all this stuff, and she thinking it's from Ramsey. And then she was like, it's something else going on with you. So she ended up breaking down, telling her that Justice's father is about to get out of prison. I'm like, we never even knew he was in prison, like, because on none of the other seasons she never mentioned anything about him. She always portrayed him as a deadbeat dad who never done anything for him. We never knew he was in jail. I thought he was like a regular old dad just out here working and just didn't want to pay child support to see his son. Well, obviously she said he's been in jail for 9 years because they were doing something illegal, both of them, and he ended up taking a rap for her because she had the baby. I guess he didn't want her to go to jail because she was the mother or whatever, and both of them would have went to jail, and the kid probably would have went in foster care or whatever, because Kelly never mentioned her parents and stuff either, so I don't know if they're alive or if they're dead, or she just don't talk to them. But she was like, he want to come back and he want to stay with me. And Esperanza was like, no, you don't owe him nothing. She was like, yeah, I kind of do. I do owe him. So basically she's saying if he want to come back and stay, he gonna come back and stay, because he could still rent her out and I don't know, and still probably make her life a living hell, because he did 9 years. So obviously he did love her enough for her not to go to jail, but she shouldn't have been doing illegal stuff anyway. Kelly is the type of friend that always in other people's business trying to solve other people's problems when their life is the most screwed up. Like, who would have thought Kelly was doing criminal activities? How she liked to look her nose down upon people. And I just was like, Kelly, girl, you need to stop. I already don't like her. So by her doing, I don't know. I'm just over Kelly. I'm over Kelly, Alex, Esperanza. Natalie started to get on my nerve. Like I told y'all, the only person that I like is Marcy. Then we go on over to the police station. Eddie, another one who I can't stand, who needs to die, who always doing it. I thought maybe by him getting shot would have been a wake-up call, but obviously it's not. It just seemed like he's getting worse and worse. Like somebody gonna have to like paralyze him or put him in the grave for him to actually just stop doing stuff that he's doing. He's still over there trying to convince Ben to kill Pete. And Ben was like, no, man, there's cameras and stuff in there and everything. He ended up telling him that Andrew got his girlfriend, that his nurse is the girlfriend, and that's how the cameras get in there. And then Ben was talking about he was having second thoughts about killing Pete, because sometimes when people who've been shot or something wake up, they can't even remember, so he don't want to like kill him if he can't even remember who did it or whatever. And Eddie was basically like, he's not trying to take that chance. Like, he want Ben to kill Pete. I'm like, if you want Ben dead so bad, you go do it. Like, why you trying to make Ben do all this stuff for you? Like, we already know that Ben was a drug addict or whatever, but You go do all this crazy stuff, and Ben just falling right on along with the plan like a big dummy. And then after he found out the information from Andrew, he go on over in the locker room where Andrew was sitting down, looked like he was eating sandwich and drinking something, eating his lunch, because Pete was his friend, so he don't really talk to nobody that's in there. And then him and Lucian working together. Lucian ain't there, so, and they don't like to be seen together because they don't want people to think that they working together or something like that. But he was in there, and what's the boy named Eddie going there and confronts him. He stepped his foot on the man's sandwich on the bench and started talking all this crap to him and threatening him about his girlfriend putting cameras in the room, talking about he think he's smart and all that stuff, and telling him he gonna get the girl shot and him shot if he don't stop, and hey, this a big boy's game and never try to come for him and all this crap. And then he ended up slapping Andrew, and Andrew just sat there. I'm like, Andrew, what are you doing? Like, you talking all this junk about what you gonna do, and look, I bet you anybody money Eddie went and did that to Lucian. You see how Lucian shot him in the locker room, even though he had that vest on. I bet you Eddie won't try Lucian no more. But he just sitting there just taking all this crap, and then he ended up getting slapped and didn't do nothing. I'm like, Andrew. Boy, Andrew, you gotta stop. And after he slapped him, whatever, he just walked out like it wasn't nothing, and went back in the main lobby where everybody was at, where he was just talking to Ben. He goes, and when he go back into the main lobby, like all the police and stuff are rushing out saying it was a gunshot call. So I'm assuming it's going over to Lucian and Natalie's house in the projects, or because they never said, but we just assume that's where it's at because that's the only thing that's been happening here. And like, I'm quite sure, well, they probably do get some more calls and stuff in, but they don't look like the type that have like a bunch of crime in that city, because it's some small town or whatever. But anyway, we assume that he's going over there with Natalie them. So the captain, not the captain, the man who under the captain, I can't remember his name, but he always looking sneaky too. He told Eddie to go, and Eddie was like, where is that? He was like, man, you know all the information in the car. And Eddie was like, okay, I'll be there. Eddie was just moping around, and the man just looked at him like he crazy, and like he went out. And Eddie sent up to put his foot on the table to tie his shoe. And then he called Ben over there to tie his shoe, and Ben was like, yeah, because Ben was like, I only got one hand. He's like, oh yeah, you better be glad you only got one hand, or some junk like that. And then he ended up telling Ben, since the coast is clear now, he can go on in there and try to sneak into the computer and find Claudia. I'm like, he got Ben trying to do all this dirty work for him. He ain't doing nothing but catching Ben up. So when the fall back, when the thing blow up, all this is gonna come back on Ben and not Eddie, because he got Ben doing every single thing. And all this started because he shot Ben. Well, he shot Ben for stealing drugs. He shot Ben, and Ben Pete took the tape. All this is because of Eddie. Everything that's happening in this sequence right now is because of Eddie, except for the Quan and all that stuff. But he got Ben going down and do his dirty work, and Ben going right on in there, close all the blinds with his one hand, and start typing on the computer or whatever. Oh, before he did that, he had an altercation with Andrew, basically going back and forth with Andrew. Andrew like, you don't stand up to Eddie like this, and you just coming at me and all this stuff. So they going back and forth banter, and then Andrew swung and missed, and Ben beat his ass with one hand. I'm like, Andrew, you really getting on my nerves now, because like, if you're gonna have this much guts and balls to go up against somebody, at least have some heart or something. Like, how you get beat up by a one hand man with one hand? Yeah, he got two arms, but the one little other hand ain't gonna lay in. Like, how you get beat up by somebody with one hand? I'm asking you. I'll wait. Then we get Julius speeding down the street. I think he literally sped because he saw the police was there. And who pulls him over? Andrew. Andrew walked up to him, license and registration. You know how that shit they be doing. And then asked him, has he been drinking and driving? He was like, no, I was drinking before I started driving. That shit was so fucking funny to me. Julius know he know how to act like a crazy person. And he was like, he stepped out and told him to step out of the car. He put him under arrest and then put him in the back seat or whatever. On the seat, he had out the notes he was keeping on Eddie and Ben. I'm like, Andrew, how stupid can you get? Like, and then Julius was asking him how much he made a year, trying to get him to join his team, whatever. Andrew wasn't biting, so he finally gave up or whatever. Now, this is my thing. I don't think Julius was drunk. I think he only did that. He was in a Ferrari too, y'all. I think he only did that because he saw the police right there. I think it was a ploy to go to jail to see how, because he found out that Claudia works there. Remember at the end of last season when his daddy died or whatever, he found out she worked down at the police station. So I think it was a ploy for him to act drunk, because he never took a breathalyzer or anything, just to go down to the police station to see how Claudia looks, to plot to kill her. Because as you know, she and her mother got all the money. His dad didn't leave him or his mother anything. So that's why I think he was drinking and driving. Well, I don't even think he was drinking. I just think that was his ploy to get to the jailhouse down there to see how Claudia looks. But Claudia's not even here. And then we get Travis choking Kelly again. I'm tired of Tyler Perry with all these abusive scenes in here. And he basically he's just mad because she used him for sex the same way that the men use the women for sex. And just like any other ordinary man, he got mad because he got played at his own game. And he threatened Kelly and choking Kelly, and that was basically that. Finally, we see Mr. Randall in his box. In the box. I don't think it's bare because you can still see the light beaming through it or whatever. And then he ended up trying to break out. He turned a light a match, I'm assuming. And then he hear all Rusty and all his friends out there say, "Oh, you ain't getting out of here, boy," and all that stuff. And then he hear the baby crying. And then when the baby started crying, it went off. And that was the end of the episode of season 3, episode 1. Watch your back if loving you is wrong. Now I do have a few questions, true questions. Where is Ramsey? Because at the end of last season he was in the shower, like he didn't hear all this going on. Also, they don't have any nosy neighbors like on the haves and the have-nots that you can see like stuff going on. Y'all not gonna call the police. They don't live in the HOA that they have people patrolling the neighborhood for just for crimes and stuff, like all that noise, and nobody said anything. Everybody in the neighborhood mind their business. I know they're not black people, because the black people mind their business, but everybody in the neighborhood is not black. Marcy and Randall probably was the only black people. They're not Kelly, so she moved there. Oh, Ramsey mama too, she died though. But she moved into that house. So it was only 2 people that was there. But none of the neighbors know anything. Well guys, thanks for watching my channel. Queen Sugar season 1 episode 3 is gonna come up soon. I have to record that one. And subscribe to my channel. Bye.